Welcome back for day 5 of my experience of attending Dr. Joe Dispenza's advanced meditation retreat. If you haven't yet seen the 4 days, make sure you go and watch it. The links are below this video in the description. It was a mind-blowing experience and day 5 was even more crazy. In today's video, you will see how I give proof of the EEG machine that I purchased in US. I used it on my head during the morning meditation, which was a 5-hour meditation. It was crazy. Like, I'd never in my life thought I will do a continuous 5-hour meditation. And during that experience of meditation, I was able to measure my brain waves and see the proof for the first time how my brain goes into gamma. And I did some amazing manifestation during that time. And in the 4D world, I could experience the magic. See you in the video, and make sure you make a lot of notes. Share with me in the comments what was your favorite part as usual. And I'll see you at the end of it. All right, welcome back everyone. Day 5, last day today. Today again, something crazy happened. Everyone ready? All right, so here we go. First thing, today morning, we started at 4 o'clock. As I told you yesterday, we reached there at around 3:45. And the meditation went on for full 5 hours. I couldn't believe it. Like, I have never done meditation for so long in one go. Vipassana was there, but Vipassana used to still have breaks every 2-3 hours. This was too crazy. One stretch, 5 hours. And here is the weird part. I did not sleep. I was awake the whole time. I was aware the whole time. And the realizations and the experiences I had were mind-blowing. So I'm about to tell you what they are. And I'll give you a little recap about what happened the previous day. And then everything will make sense to you about what I experienced during the meditation. Get ready to make some notes because this is some bonkers stuff that I experienced. All right. So first thing, on the previous day, which was yesterday, I met a beautiful, gorgeous girl. I think she was from Iran. Yeah, she was from Iran. And she was wearing a beautiful Indian dress. So I just couldn't stop myself. I went up to her and I complimented her. I said, "Ma'am, you're looking really beautiful." And she said, "Thank you." We spoke. She spoke about me and we had a small discussion for about 10 minutes. And then after that, this girl just wouldn't go out of my mind. Like, I'm just constantly, my visuals are just coming to me and I'm like, what's happening to me? Why am I behaving like a teenager thinking about this girl? So I'm like talking to my friends, meditating, all of that in the evening. But she just kept coming to my mind again. Today morning, I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, 3 a.m. And it was enough time for me to reach the resort, to reach the convention center at 3:45, which was the agreed time. For some weird reason, I don't know what happened to me. I very senselessly, I got late. Okay. And then eventually I left my room at 3:47, which is like very late because I had to be there at 3:45. And they said that they will close the doors at 4 and they will not allow anybody if you come even 1 minute late, because the meditation is very important at 4 o'clock as per Brahma Muhurat. So I ran, like I literally ran. And look at the crazy frequency game. Guess whom I meet on the way? Same girl. And I was like, why is she coming in front of me right now? But anyway, so we go there. And on the way we were talking, we kind of had a conversation on the way. And she was also rushing. I was also rushing. We reached on time. Meditation started. And guess what's happening in the meditation first 5 minutes? I'm all distracted. I'm only thinking about this girl. I'm like, what's going on? Why am I so attracted to this girl? Why am I so distracted? That's not me. And it just went on. And after about 10 minutes in the meditation, you remember the big brain I told you about yesterday? It came back. And the moment it connected, you remember it said, ask whatever you want. So I said, okay, let me ask. I said, why am I distracted right now? Like, this is not usually me. Why am I distracted? And I remembered somebody again as powerful as Dr. Joe. Anybody remembers last year, Dr. John DeMartini? Anybody remembers breakthrough experience? Right? You remember balanced perspective? And I heard a very clear conversation in my head. Write this down. Distraction happens when you're attracted very strongly towards something or someone. And when you are attracted towards something or someone, it can be a person, it can be a thing, it can be a place, it can be a goal, it can be an achievement. It can be anything that you want in your life, and you can be attracted towards it. And when you're attracted towards something or some place or someone or somebody, in that moment, what happens to space and time? The voice inside me said, what happens to space and time? Does it go very fast or does it slow down? What do you think? It slows down. You are strongly in which dimension? 3D dimension, the normal 3D world. And in that 3D dimension, when everything slows down, and if it's very, very slow, tell me the emotions we go through when we are attracted to a goal or a person or a thing or anybody in life or anything in life. What are the emotions that we go through? There is desperation. There is excitement. There is worry about will it happen or not. There is attachment. There is self-doubt about am I capable of it or not. There is sometimes even a little guilt about why am I behaving like this? How many of you agree with that? And I was going through all that. And it said, the reason you're distracted is because you're so attracted to someone right now or something right now that you're in the space and the time world right now, the 3-dimension world. And in this 3-dimension world, everything always slows down. I said, makes sense. And in the 3-dimension world, when you're attracted to something else, you're never happy with what? Make a guess. Present moment. And you feel something is missing. Someone is missing. This moment is not perfect. And you feel this strong desire of not being where you are and being where you want to go. It can be, again, a person or a thing or a goal or anything. How many of you agree with that? I was like, wow, that makes so much sense. That's why I'm distracted right now. And I'm not in the present moment. I'm not able to give my 100% to this meditation. And then it gave me more clarity about that what happens when it's the opposite. You get somebody, let's say coincidentally, you're manifesting a goal and you get what you want. It can be a person or it can be a thing or it can be a situation or it can be anything. You get it. Do you think you're going to be happy after that? No, it's a pattern. How many of you agree with that? It's a pattern. And the voice in me said, when you, let's say you meet this girl and you develop a relationship with her and something nice happens, you're just going to get into another pattern. And then it's an imbalanced perspective. Everyone take both your hands like this and say it loudly. Imbalanced perspective. What is an imbalanced perspective? Why are we distracted towards someone or something or anything? Imbalanced means only seeing positive. There is no negative. Write this down. Only seeing and imagining positive. There is no negative right now. So in my mind, if I'm attracted to a person, what can I perceive about that person right now? Best experience in the world, best of everything. That's the perception. And right now, there is a deletion. How many of you remember NLP? There is a deletion of what? The other side of the person, correct? And if something happens and that goal gets achieved, which it will happen because law of attraction works. But if you still have this pattern of imbalanced perspective, will it other way happen when I meet the person and let's say the relationship occurs for you? Or if you achieve the goal, or if you get the holiday, or if you get the money, can the imbalanced perspective happen the ulta way also? What do you mean by the ulta way? Here's now what happens. You now get married to somebody, you get into a relationship with somebody, you go for the holiday that you wanted to go to, that you've been desperately waiting for. It can be a goal, it can be anything. And the day you get it, you'll be happy for how long? Few hours, and then the pattern comes back. And now here's what happens. You start finding flaws in that thing, in that person, in that situation, in that moment. And you start seeing that side of that person, that thing, that goal, which you had not seen earlier and you had deleted it. How many of you agree with that? How many of you remember this experience of your own where you got really infatuated to somebody and you thought, wow, this person is amazing. But when you really got close to the person, you realized, oh, shoot. He or she is not as good as I thought. How many of you agree with that? And what happens when you see the other side of that person? Tell me what happens. What happens to your illusion? What happens to your attraction? What happens to your that feeling of wanting to be with that person all the time? What happens? It's gone. And now another feeling starts. What feeling starts? If you keep seeing the other side now, everyone take both your hands again. Again, imbalanced perspective. What is the imbalance this time? Now you're not looking at the positives. Now you're looking at what? I'm looking at the negatives. The beauty of the person has disappeared. The joy of the goal has disappeared. The pleasure of the situation has disappeared. How many of you agree with that? So now what happens when you are in that relationship or in that goal or during that holiday, or you got the job or whatever you were really desperate about. Now you start seeing the side that you had never seen. And when your illusions break, now there are different emotions. Now there is not the emotion of wanting to be in that situation or with the person all the time. Now it's the opposite emotion. Tell me, what is the opposite emotion of you? Heartbroken, disappointed, feeling like running away from this person. How many of you agree with that? Now, this can happen even in 10 years later in a marriage. How many of you agree with that? Imbalanced perspective can happen anytime. Because when you start seeing only the negative sides of the person, you feel, isse baat karke koi fayda nahi hai. Like, this person is useless. And it is such an easy way to shed away responsibility and say everything is about that person. But who's responsible for our feelings? We are. Who's responsible for our frequency? We are, because of the imbalanced perspective. So I realized in my conversation, and this is like a real conversation going on between me and this voice in my head, saying that now if you go into that situation, you'll get so many negative experiences that you'll want to run away from this person now, or from this goal, or from this situation, or from this conversation. And then starts the same game again. You move away from here, and when you're trying to move away from this moment very badly, what are the emotions? Feeling bad, running away. All those emotions are starting again. And maybe you manifest to run away somehow successfully. But is the game over? You go into the same loop again. How many of you remember this movie called Avengers? Anybody remembers the movie called Avengers? Write this down. The more we play the hero game, the bigger we attract the villain. The more we play the hero game, the bigger we attract the villain. The more we play the villain game, the bigger we attract the hero. Isn't both true? The more we are negative, the more we'll attract positive. The more we are positive, the more we'll attract negative. Yes or no? But in the end of the movie, who wins the game? When Iron Man is dead in the Avengers final, who wins the game? You'll say the villain wins the game. Okay, so the villain snaps the finger, everybody's dead. Is the villain happy? No, the villain is also on some weird island alone because his purpose is complete and now he's wondering what to do with his life. And then somebody kills the villain again. And there starts another hero and another villain and another hero and another villain. So what is this? Show me with your hands. It's a pattern, right? And this is the pattern that I was shown in that meditation. And he said, if you keep seeing only positives and you only avoid the negatives, you will be distracted. And if you only see the negatives and you don't see the positives, you will be distracted and you will not be able to give a balanced moment to where you are, and you will not be able to live life to its fullest. So I said, what do I do now? He said, think about the person and imagine what are the negative sides of the person. Just visualize it and just imagine it. So here's what I imagined. I imagined something crazy. I imagined that I'm gone out for a date with this girl. And now this girl, after having the date, is getting completely emotionally attached to me and saying, leave your wife, Indu, and come and get married to me. I was like, hey, Bhagwan, ye kahan phas gaya main? And like in the meditation, I was like, kahan phas gaya main? And the voice said, what happened? You don't want that part. But you can't get the positive without the negative. Both always comes together. By the way, how many of you agree that's true? I mean, it may not come exactly the way I visualized it, but will there be some negatives? Raise your hands, yes or no? So the moment I visualized the negative about this girl, can you make a guess what happened? Positive was already there. I visualized some negative. Guess what happened? Oof. The attraction also disappeared because of the negative. The desire to be there also disappeared. And in that moment, you know what happened to my emotions? Balanced. And I was back in the present. I felt so peaceful. And I started meditating. And for the next 10 minutes, I had, again, tears of gratitude. It was a beautiful experience. I was awake every single second. Every cell of my body was awake. And it was such an amazing experience. But this wouldn't have happened if that balanced perspective wouldn't have happened. For how many of you right now, this conversation was important to you? Because somewhere you're being imbalanced in your life, aren't you? You're either being too pulled towards what you want, or you're being pushed towards what you don't want to be from. Yes or no? And after those 10 minutes of that peaceful, brilliant meditation, they asked us to open our eyes and look at a beautiful video of Kaleidoscope. You remember yesterday I told you about a kaleidoscope? So they just told us, just look at it. And they said, what does Kaleidoscope is made of? Geographical figures. And geographical figures are made of what? Everyone show me hands. Anything in the world is made of what? Frequency. And frequency carries what? What has Dr. Joe been telling us for the last 5 days? Frequency carries information. Yes or no? Am I now vibrating at a balanced frequency? Hello? Yes, I have. And before he asked us to open our eyes, we did that breathing exercise I told you about, activating the pineal gland. Oh, it was like every time I do it, it hits. Like it hits as if somebody, I don't know, I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's the most crazy experience in the world. And then we finish that experience and he says, okay, open your eyes and look at the kaleidoscope. I said, okay, so I start looking at it. And again, it was mesmerizing. Like if you had seen me at that moment, you would see me. Like this is how I was looking at it. It was just going zombie. And then something amazing happened. You remember I said the kaleidoscope has frequency, and right now, because of the pineal activation, I am vibrating at what frequency? Do you think I'm in the 3D world right now? No, I'm in the P4D world right now. I am like in platinum 4D right now. And I could feel my vibrations were super high. I could feel every cell of my body. My awareness was crazy high. And I was in bliss, like I was in pure love emotion. Who was I in that moment? Was I a coach? Was I a husband? Who was I in that moment? No one. Where was I in that moment? Do you think I was in that video? Do you think I was in the chair? Where was I? My sense of identity was lost. I was nowhere. Right? And do you think time existed for me in that moment? So in what time zone was I? India zone, time zone, no time zone. And in that moment, you remember when I said you're in the 4D world, the only way to access it, coherence breathing, activation of the pineal gland, you become no one, nobody, nothing, nowhere, no time. If you go through this zone of being no one, nobody, nowhere, no time, now you access the 4D world where instead of no one, you're what? Everyone. Instead of not here, you are where? Everywhere. You're not just nowhere, you're everywhere. And instead of being a nobody, you are what? Everybody. And you're instead of being here or nowhere, no time, you're in which time? You're parallelly everywhere in the world. So what information do you think could be accessible in that zone to us? Anything. And sure is an amazing, amazing, beautiful experience I had. You guys got to listen to this. Since last 3 years, I and Indu have been struggling with something crazy. Very simple, but something crazy. We've been wanting to create a beautiful diagram, explain what platinum is and as a journey of platinum. And we have never been satisfied with the journey of platinum as a diagram. And how many of you would agree with this? We still don't have a proper image that says, okay, this is what platinum is. How many of you agree with that? Right? It's still like a little confusing in the mind somewhere because there's so many things. I'm like, how do I explain? And in the next 5 minutes, I don't know whether it was 5 minutes or 1 hour, I saw a very clear diagram of what platinum is. And I'll define it to you right now, and you will love it. Let me define it to you. How many of you remember seeing a kaleidoscope? Like there's an image, it starts from the center, it goes out like this, and then it comes in like this, and then it goes out like this, then it comes in like this. And it circulates at the same time. Okay. So the first answer I got was, you've been looking for an image for platinum, right? And I smiled. I said, yes. And it said, you've been looking in the wrong direction. You've been looking for a 2D image. And he said, platinum, what you've created is not 2D, it's 4D. So you're not supposed to have a 2D or a 3D image. So I said, what am I supposed to have? He said, you're supposed to have a moving kaleidoscope type of a 4D video. I was like, wow. I was like, show me. I said it so strong as if I was talking to somebody and as if I believed it that it would show me. I said, show me. So here is what I saw. How many of you remember this sign called Flower of Life? I don't know if you've seen it. I saw that at the very center, there was a beautiful flower of life, full image of a flower of life. And this flower of life in the center says ALOA. So everyone take a blank paper quickly. Come on, you'll be able to see what I'm saying. And in the blank paper, at the very center, make a small circle.
And that small circle in your case is a circle, but in reality, it's not going to be a circle. It's going to be a full flower of life design. And at the center is going to be ALOA. So what is ALOA, everyone? Advanced LOA, right? And I saw that over there. And from there, I saw 4 petals coming out. So if you create those 1, 2, 3, 4 petals, like oval shape, and each petal will be called as what? HRCM. Health, relationships, career, and money. And then it said that whenever you introduce your program, tell them that in the beginning of the program, tell them, show them this beautiful flower and show them in the center is advanced LOA. You always start your journey here. But do you stop your journey here? No. He said, now you take a beautiful flower and make 4 petals, HRCM, and you specialize every frequency. And how many of you agree health frequency is actually very different? How many of you agree with that? Like relationship is different, career is different, money is different, right? But you need the basics in place. You need that advanced LOA in place. That comes in there. And then he said, from there, you create more flowers extended to each of that flower petal. How and why? Because health would have its own workshop. A relationship would have relationship mastery. Career would have something else, leadership mastery. Money would have wealth mastery. How many of you agree with that? And he said, now it is not going to be an image. It's going to be what? A video. I said, but it just keeps going on and on and on. He said, that's what platinum is. He said, platinum is constantly evolving. Platinum is constantly having new things. And your HRCM is never independent. It is always connected to each other. How many of you agree with that, by the way? We've been saying that, haven't we? That all the frequencies are eventually connected. And he said, when you really look at the whole kaleidoscope working, and it actually showed me an image going in, coming out, like a flower of life. He said, at the same time, there is going to be clarity. At the same time, there is going to be confusion. And that's what platinum is always going to be. And how many of you agree when you joined platinum for the first time, there was crazy confusion about where am I? And then after some time, clarity comes in. And after some time, confusion comes in. After some time, clarity comes in. Those of you who've been here for a few months or a year, you know what I'm talking about. How many of you agree? Like just when you think, acha, ab mujhe samajh aa gaya platinum kya hai? I start something else and you're like, okay, we got to start all over again. And then just when you think you've done life coaching 2 times, you hear some message in the group that Mitesh has added some new dimension to life coaching. And you're like, oh my God, I have to do it all over again. And then you come back. How many of you have experienced that? He said, that's because what you've created is not a 2D, 3D world. It's a 4D world. So you have to create an image, a graph, which is going to be a 4D image, which is going to be constantly moving. And what it actually showed me was not as simple as this. It was beautiful. It had lots of colors. And it was the most gorgeous thing that I had ever seen. And I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure we'll be able to recreate that in animation very, very soon. But the point is, that's what we figured out was platinum for us now as a graphical image. How many of you think that's awesome? And does it actually make sense like that? Does the graph make sense to you? Does the diagram make sense to you now? Yes or no? And where was I able to access this information? And which world was I able to access this information? In the 4D world. And in this particular case, did I even ask the question? No. Because in this dimension, the universe is already connected to your inner being and it knows what you want. It knows what you want. So that is why purposely sometimes it will not give you what you want, because what you want is what you know. But it knows what you don't know. So sometimes it will give you what you didn't even ask for. If you're vibrating at the correct frequency, that will always be best for you. Now the question is that what the universe will give you most of the times is known or unknown? Known or unknown? Unknown. Well, in that case, we have to be allowing the unknown or be scared of the unknown. We have to allow the unknown. Once this clarity happened, then after that, it went on a crazy level of meditation experience. I don't know how long that happened. Between this clarity to the next entire end of the 5 hours, I really cannot distinguish how long it took. But here is what I did. Let me show you something amazing. Hold on. You see this? This is an EEG device, which I was telling you about yesterday. I used it in the 5 hours meditation today to see what's really going on in my brain. The way we use this is, if you see there are some electrical nodes here. So I put this here like this. It connects here, and that's it. It connects to the mobile. It has an application and it starts reading I was really not sure whether the device will catch the battery for so long, but it ran for full 5 hours. In the end, I removed this and I started the device about 5, 7 minutes late. So if you see, it shows 4 hours, 52 minutes. I don't know if you can clearly see it, but this is a graph of my brain image, my brain waves. Okay. Now, what I'm about to show you is alpha. This is alpha. Look at the amount of alpha frequency there. But what did he say? What is the highest frequency that we're supposed to reach? Anybody remembers that highest frequency? Gamma, right? That's where the mystical experiences happen. So some of you asked me, when will we experience this? Very soon, because I have realized one thing. You can reach gamma very easily. It is not rocket science. You don't need 10 saal ki tapasya. That reminds me. When I was in the gamma experience, yeah, one more experience I remembered. I actually saw myself as tapasvi again today. I again saw myself like a bearded guy sitting under a tree and properly meditating. And I swear that was me. And in one moment, I saw myself as Gautam Buddha. That was a crazy experience. I don't know whether that was real or not, but I actually felt as if I was Gautam Buddha in that moment. I could see eyes very clearly. I could feel, and I felt as if I was under that tree meditating that we heard about in stories. But anyway, so you want to see my gamma frequency, how long it was? Tell me the color, okay? And here is my gamma frequency. Look at the amount of gamma waves. This is madness. Right? And by the way, as per those guys who showed us the science data, they said for any normal human being, this amount of gamma is not natural. This only happens in this event, they say, or it happens to experienced meditators. So I bought this EEG device and I'm going to buy more of these so that when we meet in one of these events, I can hook you onto this device to prove you that you are also in gamma. But you don't need the device now anymore, because once you're in gamma, what will you experience? The known world or the unknown world? Will you have information which you know of or you don't know of? Will you meet people who you've known or not known? Yeah, you'll start having all those mystical experiences. And that will be the biggest proof that you were in gamma. How many of you agree with that? Right? So this was the gamma experience I had. And about 5 hours later, the experience finished. I got up, I looked around, and my partners who were part of the group, they got up and they said they also didn't realize where the time went away. I asked them if they felt any such conversations or experiences or visuals or diagrams. They said they didn't. For them, it was just, they just zombed out. Most of them didn't experience something like this, but they had tears of joy experience. And yes, I saw some very, very beautiful diagrams again when my eyes were closed. So this was the 5 hours experience. So that is the manifestation complete for the day. With that, all 5 days are complete. I've kept my commitment of being with you for every single day. Once again, thank you. I love you to all. Take care. Bye-bye, everyone.
All right, wasn't that amazing? If you also want to be part of our Platinum group and you want to be part of our Platinum family, there's a link below this video in the description, which gives you access to a registration where you will understand in 90 minutes with me in a live webinar what really is Platinum, how it can help you achieve 10 years of success in 1 year, and how you can be with me and this entire family forever, right? See you soon in the Platinum webinar. And hey, I will share more such meditation and magical experiences. Hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so when I come up with that video, you definitely get a notification. Okay, see you soon. Bye.